Okay, today we're going to talk about an aerosol can puncture device. So what is an aerosol can puncture device? This is an aerosol can puncture device. As the name implies, it safely punches a hole in your spent aerosol cans. Once that hole is punched, because this whole device sits on top of a 55-gallon drum or 30-gallon drum, any residual chemical inside that spent aerosol can gets collected in the drum. Any residual fumes get collected inside the carbon coalescing filter that screws into the 3/4 inch bung on the top of the drum. The puncture device, as you see here, screws into the 2-inch bung on the top of the drum lid. So an aerosol can that has been punctured and drained would meet the definition of scrap metal per 40 CFR 261.1 C6. So I want to be clear, you can't just take a hammer and a punch and punch a hole in an aerosol can. That is illegal. That's not allowed by the EPA, and that's against regulations. It's not good for the environment. It's not safe. You have to use one of these aerosol can puncture devices. So you can have one of these devices for your spent spray paint cans. You can have another one of these devices for your spent brake cleaner, component cleaner cans, and maybe a third device for your lubricant WD-40 spent spray cans. And the great thing about this puncture device, once they've been drained and punctured, they then are classified as scrap metal and can be sent to a scrap metal vendor for recycling. Woo! Because roughly 3 billion aerosol cans are consumed in the industrial space annually. This equates to roughly 375,000 tons of steel that can be recycled and reused. So here is a concept drawing I did in around 2010 for my previous employer. Helped management decide to institute an aerosol can recycling system in our facility. And basically, this design I made from common, readily available parts. I did purchase a coalescing carbon filter. There's the part number you see there. But again, these are readily available parts. You do need a grounding wire with a grounding clamp to reduce risk from static electricity. And there needs to be a one-way check valve so that once you puncture your aerosol cans, the residual chemical fumes don't come up out of the puncture device as you're taking cans in and out of the puncture device. There also consists of a puncture pin, a handle that you push down on, which drives the puncture pin into the aerosol can. And again, around that puncture pin also needs to be a seal. And this one we also made it lockable, so only authorized employees could use it. By implementing this solution, we reduced our waste stream and reduced our overhead operating costs. This even helped the company earn a state and local environmental achievement award. You may check your area and see if there's waste minimization credits available where you are. And you do not have to make your own aerosol can puncture device like I did. They're readily available on the market. A quick Google search, you'll find aerosol can puncture devices for sale. And to give you a close-up view of the 2-inch one-way check valve, I simply took a 2-inch metal pipe nipple and welded the metal frame inside of it that the rubber seal would seat against, and there's a large fender washer and a 3/8 bolt that goes up through the center. And then you'll see inside here there's a spring that holds that rubber seal tight against that internal frame. And there's a lock nut which you can adjust the spring tension with. So when you put the aerosol can in there, it's going to push down on that one-way check valve to allow the check valve to open, allow the residual contaminants to go into the drum, but then when you pull the can out, the check valve immediately closes, keeping the contaminants in the drum. Another option to reduce your aerosol can usage is to buy these reusable, basically pressurized spray cans. This is not a paid promotion for this company. You can do a Google search for reusable spray cans. It's a great idea. You can use these ones use compressed air, I believe, to pressurize your lubricants or your cleaners. Just some food for thought. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.